Buenas noches, amigos. Bienvenidos al Panteón Lucha Talk with el Nocturno. Welcome to episode 3, and what an episode it's going to be. Today's episode is going to be about our health. And the reason I'm going to shift gears and kind of talk about our health is because health is very important when you're a luchador. I mean, it goes without saying, right? Physical activity, you're taking bumps. And a lot of wrestlers and luchadors know exactly what I'm talking about. It's hard enough to stay healthy, external wise, like broken bones, bruises, hurt ankles, hurt shoulders, hurt knees. Um, but it's also very important and very hard to stay healthy internally. And what I mean by that is heart, lungs, kidney, liver, and more internal organ area, things like that. And the reason for this episode is because many of you know that I had a recent health scare, and it kind of opened my eyes, and it made me start thinking about what health is and how important health is when it comes to physical activity and being an athlete, and not just lucha libre and wrestling, but I mean everything. Everything changes in an instant, and things you used to take for granted and do no problem now uh, cause a strain on my heart. Um, so let's start from the beginning, and let's talk about what health is in the lucha libre industry. If you've watched WWE growing up, or WWF as it was called when I first started watching, uh, you know the high risks, high reward these superstars go through, especially with the hardcore stuff. Um, and a lot of the independent wrestlers will do hardcore stuff, and it's very high risk, moderate reward, if you ask me. Because yes, you're putting your body on the line for maybe 200 people in a gymnasium, rather than thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands around the world, maybe millions. So that's the give and take. Jason Rage, don't get mad at me, man. I respect what you do. I could never do it, and I'm too old. But maybe when I was your age, I mean, um, and don't get me wrong, when I was younger, you would constantly see me jumping off roofs onto cardboard boxes, mattresses, through tables, things like that. I loved it. I wanted to do that. But now, as you age, um, everything starts hitting you a little more, and you kind of take it for granted, and you believe, well, I'm going to live forever, right? Everyone thinks they're immortal, mostly anyone, until they're not, until it hits you right in the face. And that's what happened to me. Um, And for some reason, as soon as I hit 40, everything started hurting. Everything started coming to the front of the stage. I don't know if this happens with everybody, but with me, I hit 40, and all of a sudden, I am feeling it. I'm feeling everything, feeling sleeping wrong, feeling, I held my neck the wrong way for a long time. I went snowboarding for my 40th birthday. Why? I don't know. But I fell pretty hard and hit my forearm a couple times. And amigos, when I tell you that this forearm swelled up, I had a goose egg on my forearm, and then in the next days, the bruise expanded all through my arm. All of these was black and blue. Um, so I don't know if that was just from being 40, or if it's just because I really got a putazo really hard. So um, but let's get into the story. Let's get into why El Nocturno is kind of banned from in ring action, and is not cleared for in ring action right now. I'm very sad. It really hits you when you've accomplished this dream that you've had since you were, I don't know, I was 4 years old, five, and you finally get there, and you complete the dream by winning a championship, and then it's stripped away from you. Um, because of an injury, or in my case, a health scare. But we only have one life, one heart, and we have to take care of it. And like I said, it was a real eye opener. And I sat down and rethink it, and maybe some time off will do me good. And that doesn't mean I'm going to completely be out of the wrestling scene, the lucha libre scene. I'm still going to be involved with Rudos promotions. You're still going to see me doing podcasts. So um, I'm still going to be out there. El Nocturno will not go away. You can't keep him down. Okay. He comes from El Panteon. He's meant to rise, he's meant to walk the earth. And I do apologize for not um, being as active with the podcast as you can imagine. This little health incident of mine really took my time. It took my thoughts. It took everything. Um, and I'm just getting time to recover. And I said, well, perfect. Let's do an episode on it, right? And also, as some of you saw, I was also in Disney World. I took a vacation with my family, went down to Florida. So that also took some of my mind, my time, my stress. So now I'm here. We're able to sit down, and we're able to talk to you, fine people, and continue doing the Lucha Talk podcast with the Nocturno. So let's get into it. Um, on May, I believe it was May 8th, May 8th, it was a Friday. Um, my friend, my best friend invited me out to go dancing. And I usually would have said no, but my friend's going through some stuff. So I said, okay, let's go. Let's go have some fun, right? You need it, amigo. And it's at a restaurant. So we get there, I partake in some micheladas. I take some tacos de tripa, bien doraditos, like my mom likes them. And everything is good. I'm not feeling anything. I'm putting salt on my michelada. And mind you, prior to this, I know I wasn't in the best of shape and in the best of health. I know this. I was overweight. I'm an overeater. I know I wasn't in the best of shape and health. Okay. I know this prior to this. So, anyway, I'm sitting there eating fried tacos, you know, putting salt in my micheladas, chips and salsa, more salt. I knew I suffered from high blood pressure, but I was on medication. I thought, hey, I'm okay. And again, you have the mentality of, I'm going to live forever. So the night goes on, and it comes time for the restaurant to turn into a nightclub. So we go to the area where the DJ is at. And first of all, no offense to, I even forgot what it's called, but it used to be Las Cuatro Milpas over in Bloomington, Minnesota, about 30 minutes from St. Paul. I don't know. I forgot what it is now because it was the most dead dance night I've ever been to. Usually stuff starts getting full by 11:30. Not this. 11:30 midnight came. It was empty, amigo. Maybe one more person, maybe one more group. Um Also, I want to take a moment. If you guys hear some weird noises in the background, I'm doing laundry. Um, and my podcast area is right next to my laundry room, and I think my washer is going out because it's making some weird noises. So that's the noise, okay? Back to the story. So it was pretty dead, and it was like whatever. So about midnight 10, one of my friends asked me to dance, and I've been dancing since I was 21. It's something I can do in my sleep and literally when I'm the most drunker of drunk. I've done it before. I don't know how I do it, but I've never dropped a partner and I've never missed a step. Okay. So I go out there and I dance, and it's not, it's a slow salsa. It's nothing crazy. It's not zumba. It's not merengue. It's not a quick cumbia. It is a slow salsa. And about a minute in, I start losing my breath and my chest gets very tight. And I start thinking, oh man, I know I'm out of shape, but am I this out of shape? And the chest gets tighter and very hard to expand my chest to breathe. And then the arm, the arm goes numb. And the thoughts that go through my head as I'm spinning my partner and trying not to freak out. I can barely breathe. I have to stop the dance. And I say, "Excuse me, I'm tired." And I go straight to the bathroom. I splash myself with some water. I drink some water. Um, I kind of calm myself down, catch my breath. The pain sort of goes away. I can breathe again. I go sit down, and I think I take a few chugs of my Modelo, and I'm like, okay, maybe that was a one-off. Maybe I'm all right. Okay, because it wasn't physical activity. All right, let's go. Let's take a little flashback. Let's do a cutaway here, a Family Guy style cutaway. Just a week prior, I wrestled at the Cinco de Mayo festival on the west side of St. Paul. And besides having to catch my breath at the end of the match in the dressing room for a little extra longer, everything went on without a hitch. Now keep this in mind, amigos. Just a week prior, everything went on without a hitch. I did the match with Crazy Tiger. It was not fast paced, but also not slow, you know. And I wasn't out of breath. Wasn't. I didn't feel anything like I felt the night dancing. And let's go even further back. April, I believe it was April 19th. I did a Rudos promotion show. Nothing. I didn't lose my breath. Everything was fine. I didn't feel anything. No tightening in the chest. I didn't even know I was out of shape. It didn't even feel like I was out of shape, and I was, because if you remember, 2 months, there was 2.5 months to 3 months of Operation Mental Surge. We didn't do no lucha. We didn't do no lucha because of course, our clientele, a lot of them Latinos, they would have targeted us, and a lot of our luchadors, Latinos, they would have targeted us. So we didn't do lucha shows. So there was about a month, 2 months and a half to 3 months where there was no activity, no physical activity. And I wish I could tell you, amigos, that I went out to run or walk, but I just didn't. I didn't do that. So I really let myself go. I gained a lot of weight. I got up to 260. So going up and down the stairs really was heavy. And I do remember that. I didn't remember, like, oh my God, I'm really out of shape. So I wrestled the show on the 19th just fine. Crazy Tiger did a dive and hurt my shoulder. And it felt like he pulled my shoulder. I had a noodle arm for about 2 weeks. And then it kind of it's get better. I still feel it sometimes when I'm playing video games. I sit there and I have to like move my arm because it just hangs low. And it was causing numbing in my shoulder every now and then. So keep that in mind. Let's go back. Fast forward again. So I'm there dancing, and how all of a sudden I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't move. My arm is going numb, splashing, drinking water. So then, hang on, guys. I'm having some technical difficulties here. There we go. Okay. I uh I go back and sit down, take a couple chugs of my Corona, or sorry, Modelo, not a sponsor. And about 10 minutes to 15 minutes later, another one of my friends asked me to dance. So I go. An even slower style of music. And it happens again about a minute in. And the chest gets tight, the arm goes numb. I start getting dizzy, my jaw starts to hurt. Every sign of a heart attack. Every sign of a heart attack. But did I panic? No. I stopped. Said, maybe tonight's not my night. Went to the bathroom, splashed water on my face, had a drink of water, rested, sat down. I called actually I lied. I called my friend Juan. I'm like, hey man, I'm feeling this. And he said, you should go in, man. But stubborn as I am, I said, no, I think I'm okay now. I think I'm okay. So I grabbed my friend, my friend Levi makes an appearance, my friend Levi, and I say, hey man, let's go home. So we go home, and the next day I wake up the next day and I'm okay. I notice shortness of breath going up and down the stairs, but I'm relatively okay. I feel that little tightening in my chest. I figure I'm just out of shape. It has to be that. Has to be that, right? Sunday comes, same thing. I didn't do too much physical activity, but going up and down the stairs or even bending down to get help out my daughters, pick some stuff up or picking up around the house, um, I got short of breath. And again, it's okay. I'm just out of shape. I'm fat. I haven't been working out. Maybe I'll start running again, and that will do. Monday comes, and I had to go to the gym to train. And I didn't go to work that day because A, my daughter wasn't feeling the greatest, and B, I wasn't feeling the greatest. The whole weekend, mind you, I'm kind of dizzy. My head is hurt. My jaw is hurting. I have a pain in my back of the head here. My arms kind of feel numb, but I attribute it to my injury of my shoulder. I figured, oh, maybe this one's overcompensating. And now my arms are going numb. My jaw, maybe it's just stress, the back of my head. I know that's stress. And it was a very stressful time because we're planning this trip. And well, my wife did all the planning, but this big trip is coming up. And I was planning the Lucha Libre show in just a week from that day, and I was doing it on my own, getting the talent, communicating with the talent, making the match card. I did have a little help, and I didn't know if it was going to go off without a hitch. People canceling, people can't go, people can go, trying to move things around. Can this guy wrestle? Cannot. When are we going to get there? How are we going to get paid? And I ran an international food fair as well on the same day, which went along with the Lucha show. But making posters, making the letters for I mean, so stressful to put on a show by yourself. I don't know how promoters do it. I'm sure they have help. I didn't have much help. I had some, not a lot. So I'm stressing out about that. Of course, I attribute it to how I'm feeling. Tuesday comes on, Wednesday, and I'm feeling like complete crap. I am not feeling very well. I'm still working. My arms are going numb every now and then. I could barely go up the stairs at my job. I'm taking the elevator up, walking down, still kind of feeling like crap. My overall mood is like crap. I keep telling my wife, oh, I don't feel very good. On Monday, sorry, let's back up 2 days. On the Monday, I did go to training. And while there, I suit up and I looked at the ring and I said, something's not right. Something's not right. I finally start listening to my body. Something's not right. So I text my wife. I said, I'm coming home. Will you please come with me to the emergency room? She said, of course. So there we go. I go home. We go to the emergency room and they do an EKG. They're doing blood tests. They're doing this and that. And guess what? Nothing. Your heart, it's okay. You're not currently having a heart attack. Your blood work doesn't show any signs, not even diabetes, amigos. Not even, I thought I had that. I thought I was pre diabetic. They said, nope, you're fine. Oh, so I was like, okay. They did recommend that I contact my primary and make an appointment with a cardiologist. So I did that. I think I did that Tuesday, and we got the appointment for that Friday. Now, guess what else was happening on Friday? The event, the Lucha Libre at my employment, at the place of my employment. And my appointment was at 11 p.m. in Forest Lake, Minnesota, which is about 40 minutes from where I live. Not a big deal. Not a lot of traffic at around 11 p.m., 11 a.m., sorry. So I stop at the school, drop off my daughter, and I talked to a couple of people that were going to help me. I said, look, in the very rare event that I don't come back today and it's something bigger than I think, please do this, this, and that. And I left some tasks, right? I was still naive enough to think I was coming back, right? I didn't know. I thought they were going to do a stress test. They were going to say, oh, yeah, you're fat, stop eating, you know, work out some more and take these pills and fix your diet, right? That's what I genuinely thought that's what it was going to be. I thought I was going to do a stress test and that's what it was going to be. So I'm on my way to Forest Lake. 40 minutes of thinking. What if it's this? What if it's that? I'm texting my wife. What if it's a tumor? What if it's cancer? What if I'm dying? Right? Because all that goes through your head finally, because the reality is going to hit. And mind you, on top of this, we're about to leave the following week. We're about to leave for our big vacation. This is a big vacation, Disney World plus a week at the beach. So it's huge financial strain. And of course, I'm nervous because me and my parents are driving and we're going to drive through the South and we are brown. So I wasn't very, I wasn't very confident that we were going to make it to Florida, let alone back. So all that stress is in my head. I get to the cardiologist, and luckily the guy was so cool. I sat down. I said, "Look, this is what I'm feeling." And he's like, "I need you to go in and do an angiogram. Can you do next week?" I said, "I can't. I'm actually going to leave on a trip next week. I can't do it." It's like, "No, I don't." He said, "I don't want you traveling like this. I don't feel comfortable at all. What you explained to me is not good. The symptoms you explained to me is not good. I don't want you wrestling. I don't want you doing this, this, and that, and I don't want you traveling, especially traveling across the country." He said, let me see what I can do. Let me see if I can pull some strings. Amigos, Dr. Banks in Forest Lake Alina Clinic, cardiologist, saved my life that day. I believe it. I don't get sentimental, emotional about it. I don't attribute it to a higher power. But that man, his experience, his years and years of experience, he was an older guy, saved my life that day. His intuition. I didn't have it. I'm a dodo. He said, "All right, my friend, I got you an appointment today at 2. You got to go now, today at 2. It's in St. Paul at a hospital. They're going to do what's called an angiogram. You're going to put fluid through your arteries. They're going to figure out what's going on with you. They're going to check. Hopefully, it's nothing. Hopefully, you're just out of shape, right?" That's what he told me. Hopefully, you're just out of shape. We'll be able to fix that. Um, but they got to check it out. So here I go. Text my wife, "Hey, they're sending me down to a hospital in St. Paul. Not really sure what's going on. They're going to do an angiogram. I'll be fine." This whole time, I'm texting Tony, El Tuerto, and Morgan. I'm texting them because, again, in my head, in the very rare case I don't make it back because I have to stay at the hospital, they're going to run the show. So I'm like, "Hey, just letting you know, I'm going to do this. I should be back by the show. If not, start it without me and do this, this, and that." And I'm texting some of my coworkers, same thing, right? I text my wife, here I go. Call my mom, here I go. Everybody knows where I'm going. No one was prepared to what I found out. I get there, they give me something to sign up. I'm writing down a script for my friend. At the same time, I'm filling out registration paperwork. And they call me back. They're like, "Okay, take off all your clothes, put this gown on." And I'm writing as they're speaking. Like I was the most unprofessional person you could be at that time. I'm like, "Okay, give me 1 second. I'm texting, I'm doing this, I'm taking off my clothes." I'm like, I put the gown on and they're like, "Okay, we're going to take you back. This is what we're going to do. We're going to check your heart. We're going to check your arteries. We're going to put fluid into your veins. It's called an angiogram. It's either going to go through your groin or through your wrist. We're going to prep both areas, so you got to be completely naked." And then they said, "If we find something, we're going to put in what's called a stent in your heart. Hopefully, it's not that." Everyone was optimistic because I'm 40, right? It was my age. "Hopefully, it's just you're fat and out of shape." I think that's still what everyone, the general consensus, that's what we were going through. So they drive me back. They're like, "We're going to give you a little medicine. You're not going to be completely out, but you're also going to be, woozy, right?" So they numb me up and, I'm breathing. Every 5 minutes or so, even before then, I would do this. I had to catch my breath. Every 5 minutes or so, I would have to do that. Um, because I don't know if it was what I had. I don't know. But before that, all week, every 5 minutes, I had to do that if I wasn't doing any kind of physical activity. So I remember laying there in the bed, and they transferred my fat ass over to the table, big metal table, and I did the breath, and the doctor, or the nurse, very cool guy, comes over, puts his hand on my chest, and goes, "Relax, you're gonna be okay." Okay, how close to death am I, amigo? So they put the stuff in, everything's going. I'm kind of like closing my eyes, opening my eyes, closing my eyes, and then they kind of shake me and go, I don't even know how much time passed. And they go, "You had a 99% blockage in one of your arteries." 99%. How that 1% was keeping me alive is one of the greatest medical mysteries in my book. I should have died on the dance floor. I should have died in the ring the week before. I should have died on the little run I did around the block to see if I could replicate my symptoms. Hell, I should have died going up and down the stairs. 1%. My heart was making up for that, for the 99% it couldn't. I don't know how I didn't go down. I didn't think about that at that moment. I'm only thinking about that now as I'm talking to you. And they showed me the x ray of my artery. And if you guys can imagine a straw that was pinched in the middle, that's what my artery looked like. And then they showed me the after. They put the stent in through my wrist. They didn't go through my groin. It was like a regular straw. And almost immediately, as soon as I could remember, because I was still woozy, almost immediately, I felt better. It was incredible. I still think about it today. How just clearing up that little artery, it changed it. It changed my whole how I felt. They lift my fat ass up back onto the gurney, and they take me back to the recovery room. And as I'm going, I'm still a little woozy. And as I'm going, there's my wife, and she's just getting there. And mind you, they hadn't told her anything. All of a sudden, because I put her down as my emergency contact, all of a sudden, she's just getting text after text after text. You're going into this procedure. You're out of this procedure. His recovery room is this. She's like very confused. So she's coming in as I'm coming in. So we kind of like come in together. And the nurse says something to her. And she kind of like nods at him, takes some paperwork, and he leaves. And she comes over here crying. And I'm like, what's wrong? What's going on? She said, you had two heart attacks. Your heart showed sign of at least two heart attacks. And it didn't register, but I'm like, oh, wow, really? Two heart attacks? No way. Nurse comes in. They explain, now you have a stent in your heart. Your life is going to change now. And it did, amigos. And that was only the beginning. They take me into the actual. Oh, sorry. I'm getting. Let's get some lucha back into here, yeah. Not just make this sad. So before they took me to get the procedure, I am struggling to text Tony these last minute instructions, and they put the stent in. And even in the recovery room, I grabbed my phone immediately to start texting Tony. Listen, I guess this happened. I might be in here longer than I thought. Maybe I'll get there um, at 7 now instead of 6. Just make sure everyone does their part. You know what to do. I'm still optimistic, right? And they're taking me. They're like, okay, we're gonna take you to the recovery room, and that's when I get the news. You're not leaving today. You're overnight. shattered. My day, my world shattered. Boom. I'm like, what do you mean? I have an event I have to get to. And they kind of look at me like, do you not understand that you just had two heart attacks and you have a stent in your heart and we have to monitor you to make sure A, you can your body accepts the stent and doesn't try to attack it, and you don't have another one as we speak because you still have clogged arteries, but not as bad as the one. So there we go to the room, and my wife is there, and she's still kind of teary eyed. And nurse after doctor after nurse after doctor are coming in to tell me how my life is going to change. Lucha Libre, out the door. Number one thing, no physical activity, especially lucha libre, until you're medically cleared at least for a year, they said. Medications, you went from one to five. Two blood pressure medications, one blood thinner, an aspirin I chew, and a cholesterol medication. I've never stayed overnight in a hospital before. That was the scariest thing ever. I hate hospitals. I never liked them. People die in hospitals. I don't like them. In the cardiology wing that I was at, I was the youngest one there. My roommate was an 85-year-old man with already his third stent or his first stent. I don't know, but he had already had heart problems. And he kind of looks at me like, "What are you doing? What are you in for? What are you doing here? You're young." I know. When I did my little walk, they took me for a walk to make sure, I could they monitor my heart as I did some kind of activity because I'd just been laying there. They wrapped my arm so I wouldn't move the entry point. They did it here. Um, they wake you up every 2 hours when you're trying to sleep to poke you to do blood work, blood work, blood work, blood work, blood work. I felt like a cheap prostitute just getting poked, and I didn't even get paid. In fact, I have to pay them. And it was an increasingly terrible experience. But I did it to myself. In the end, I did it to myself. I did my little walk, and I tell you, brother, hermanos, every person would just look at me. What is that guy doing here? He's young. 40, hermanos. 40 years old. Two heart attacks. My diet up on its ass. No more fried foods. No more fatty foods. No more red meats. No more processed foods. No more added salt. Mediterranean diet, they call it. I love Mediterranean food. It is cause a strain because it's hard to get my family on board with eating that kind of stuff. But they are making changes. Today we had turkey burgers. Um, I'm allowed to have that. Poultry, lean pork. I thought pork was out of the question, but they said lean pork, so I'm good. No bacon, no carnitas, no tacos. The Mexican diet out the window. Don't even think about it. Out the window. But more importantly is the lucha libre. That's the part that hit me the hardest, because I was on the up, win the championship, and all of a sudden, no more. Luckily, the support system I have, Renegado Estrada, El Tuerto, Levi, Morgan, they are working their ass off to include a Nocturno in the shows coming up for Rudo's promotions. I'm going to continue to do interviews with the boys backstage, continue to do Lucha Talk. I'm going to try to do some live Lucha Libre on my Twitch channel, maybe my YouTube channel as well. And Nocturno is not done with Lucha Libre, amigos. And I'm still optimistic that maybe in a year, maybe I will be back in the ring performing and get my title back. But until then, I'm taking care of my health. My diet's changed. I'm pushing it a little bit because we're doing a little remodeling, re-landscaping in my backyard, and I'm doing a lot of heavy lifting, and my heart seems to take it well, and my pills are working overtime. But other than that, it's still going really well. I'm recovering very well. Lots of people, thank you all, who reached out, who texted me, even some names from the past reached out. Very surprising, but they did. Um, my mother-in-law thinks it will hit me soon enough that I could have died. You know, I think it's still that 40-year-old immortality that I have. That yeah, I could have, but I didn't. You know, that naiveness. We took the trip. Everybody was very caring towards me, my family, my wife. I couldn't. I had weight restriction with my arm because of the incision site. Everyone was carrying stuff for me. I felt really. It was a double edged sword because I was used to carrying everything. I couldn't even drive. I couldn't even help my dad drive a lot. We had to stop every 2 hours so I can walk around because blood clots are an issue now because of the medication I'm on, and it's a really humbling experience. And how when they restrict you to do just the most minor physical things, it really right in the head. It hits you. So I called it babying, but they were just taking care of me. I couldn't lift anything. But as time went on, my restrictions, my weight restrictions at least lifted. So I could do a lot more. I went fishing for the first time in the ocean. Didn't catch much, but I did catch a little. Had a great time with my kids. I walked 14 hours at Magic Kingdom in blazing hot sun and humidity. I rode some rides I probably shouldn't have ridden, but you know what? If I could survive 14 hours in the heat and humidity, I can probably survive the Tower of Terror. Um, so I'm staying positive. I'm staying happy, grateful, eating healthy. I've lost so much weight. I was at 260, 256, 260, around there, shuffling now. I'm in the lower 240s, just in the time since, and I'm only dropping more. So it's really a change for the better. A lot of people would say, "Oh no, I can't eat the things I love," but I find ways to eat the things I love. Like today, I had a turkey burger on whole grain wheat bread, with light mayo, no seasoning, but that's okay. Uh, so you find things, and I do allow myself a cheat day once a week, where I think what did I do the other day? I think I did Taco Bell, and I paid for it. Not even with my heart, I paid for it with how other people pay with Taco Bell. Um, heartburn, amigos. And so you still gotta do. I'm still doing it, like I said, still doing lucha libre here and there. You got to give yourself the things you love as well, or you'll go crazy. Keep your support system. Keep staying positive. My coworkers all ask how I was. Uh, Stress, trying to keep less stress in my life. So overall, it's good. Overall, it's a win. I'm alive. I'm here, and we're gonna continue to do good things. And Nocturno is not done with Lucha, as I said before. Um, and I feel 100% better. Believe it or not, I know I'm not 100% better. I still got a ticker that might be bad, but I feel 100% better than what I did that whole week after I had the two heart attacks dancing. That whole week, I felt like complete crap. And from then to now, my health has skyrocketed to positive, losing weight, um, feeling good, can breathe. I can go upstairs without doubling over. So physical activity is coming back. My pills have a few side effects. Every time I'll bend down, and when I get up too fast, or I tie my shoe and I get up too fast, I do go whoa. I do get a little dizzy, but other than that, I'm okay. My pills, my stomach is handling my pills very well. In fact, after this episode, I gotta go take my nighttime pill. Um, so I leave you with that, amigos. Take care of your health. Take care of each other. Listen to your body, men. Listen, especially men, because we are stubborn and we know it. Listen to your body. If your body's saying something's not right, go get checked out. I cannot stress that enough. My mom didn't play the wait and see attitude when she got diagnosed with cancer. She went in. We caught it early enough that we're able to put her into remission after some surgeries. You need to get checked out, and that's that. I use my mom as a great example because I had a cousin that played the wait and see game, and unfortunately, my cousin's no longer with us, and he was diagnosed with something, and so I even waited way too long. I should have gone in the night I felt those. I should have gone to ER the night I went dancing, the night it got bad. I should have gone. I waited a week too late, 2 weeks too late to go in. So I could have. I can't imagine if I would have just skipped it and gone straight to wrestling because I was going to wrestle my event at the school. If I would have gone straight there, I wouldn't be here today. I truly believe I would have traumatized tons of children and I wouldn't have left that ring that day. I think that would have done it. It's a scary thought to think about, but I'm also realistic here on the podcast. I'm sorry I didn't give a trigger warning at the beginning. Um, I should have, and I got to get better at that because I'm hoping next episode I'll give you a little sneak peek. I want to have my mother-in-law as a special guest, and I want to talk about addiction in lucha libre and wrestling because it plays a significant role in a lot of deaths, a lot of early deaths of superstars. So I want that to be a topic. So that will be a trigger warning for that episode. We'll be talking about, and of course, my family, me included, my mother-in-law, have very personal connection to addiction and the tragedies of addiction and how it affects an entire family unit, and the ripples just go so far. It doesn't just affect immediate family. The ripples of someone's untimely demise because of addiction goes so far and it affects so much. But we'll get to that in the next episode. Until then, amigos, from El Panteón, I am El Nocturno. Y que pasen buenas noches. You have a very good night. Thank you so much.